Коллеги, сегодня мы проводим вебинар впервые с нашим коллегой из Канады, из Королевского музея Онтарио. Райн с нами на связи. И сейчас мы в режиме вопросов и ответов поговорим о том, как наши коллеги работают с социальными сетями. Hi Ryan, nice to see you again, and
Hi, Anna.
many thanks for joining us tonight. Let's start with introducing your museum.
Sure. Yeah. So the Royal Ontario Museum is a museum of world cultures and natural history. So what that means is we have cultural artifacts ranging from textiles to paintings to totem poles and things like that. And then we also have gems and minerals and dinosaurs and fossils.
Королевский музей Онтарио соединяет в себе как декоративно-прикладное искусство, все, что создано человеком, это ткани, живопись, какие-то культурные артефакты, так и природные объекты. And now can you please tell a bit more about your role in the museum? How does it, what's the title of your job and what are your responsibilities? Сейчас Райан расскажет нам о том, как называется его должность. Я думаю, что название будет довольно непривычным для русского слуха. И расскажет о том, какие обязанности входят в эту должность. Yes, please.
Okay, so my I guess my educational background. I have a history degree and a museum studies master's. So I'm not, even though I work with technology on a daily basis, I'm not a trained technologist.
Let me translate that.
Yeah.
Как и у многих из нас, у Райана первое образование историческое и магистерская степень по музейному делу. А специального технологического образования нет, что, в общем-то, очень похоже на нашу ситуацию. I can add that in case of Russian museums, it's quite typical to have history, art, or archaeology degree, then have some additional education in museum studies, and when it comes to technological background, it usually is self-education.
Yeah, and I think that's really valuable because you're teaching yourself because you're interested and you want to share the stories from your collections with people. And that's why I got involved with technology in our museum, is because I really wanted to excite people about our objects and the stories from our collections, and technology is a great way to do that.
Интерес Райана к технологиям появился, в общем-то, от какого-то личного сильного желания поделиться историями о коллекциях, которые хранятся в музее. И это стало стимулом для того, чтобы изучить технологии самостоятельно.
So I've been with the Royal Ontario Museum for 9 years. The last 3, I've been working full-time with social media. In 2009, I became involved with social media while I was working in the library and archives at the museum. And back then, we had a loose group of people, about 5 or 6 people, who realized we needed to do something with social media, but there was no direction from senior management. So we got together and started all of the accounts and talked about strategy and content and things like that. But in 2012, in July 2012, was when I started full-time as the social media coordinator, and my roles changed slightly last year, and it's now called the digital engagement coordinator.
Райн начал работать в музее 9 лет назад, и он занимался архивами и библиотекой. И в 2009 году примерно 5-6 человек из сотрудников музея решили объединить свои усилия, чтобы работать с социальными сетями. Это было волонтерством с их стороны, никаких прямых указаний со стороны руководства не поступало. Они начали самостоятельно разрабатывать стратегию, создали аккаунты в социальных сетях, начали с ними работать. В 2012 году, в июле, Райан перешел на полную ставку и стал работать координатором социальных сетей, а недавно его пост получил новое название. How do you call your title now? Digital engagement?
Coordinator, yeah.
Координатор цифрового вовлечения. В общем, по-русски это звучит очень непривычно и, наверное, непонятно, но в целом, я думаю, по названию вы можете примерно представить набор заданий, но сейчас мы об этом подробнее поговорим. Yes, so can you please tell now a bit more about your responsibilities. So what does it mean to be a digital engagement coordinator?
Right. I probably should have mentioned as well that I fall under the web team. So my boss is the manager of the web. So all of the public-facing technology within the museum is her responsibility. When I started the role in 2012, I reported to the head of communications. So about a year into the role, they did a slight reorganization and moved me over to the web team, which has been fantastic to work directly with everyone that works on the web here at the museum. We're a really small team. We have 2 web designers. And we have 2 people that work directly with social media full time, and then we have our boss, the web manager. So there's 5 people in total, out of about 300 full-time staff at the ROM who work online.
В настоящий момент Райн подчиняется департаменту, который занимается интернетом, и в этом отделе 5 человек. 2 веб-дизайнера, 2 сотрудника, которые занимаются социальными сетями на полную ставку, и руководитель этого отделения. Всего в Королевском музее Онтарио 300 сотрудников, которые работают на полную ставку. Когда Райн начинал заниматься социальными сетями, то эта деятельность находилась в ведении отдела по коммуникациям.
And so my day-to-day is really fun. I mean, it changes, day-to-day depending on what's happening online. But really, there's 3 aspects to my role. One is content production for online, for social media. So I do a lot of, writing tweets and stories to go online. And then the other aspect is building capacity with our staff. So I do a lot of teaching. We hold monthly workshops where we will teach people. When we started, it was teaching people what Twitter was. And then now it's become a little more focused and a little more detailed. So whenever there's an update to a platform, we'll focus on that. So when Twitter launched the ability to allow you to upload 4 photos in one tweet, we talked about that. So I really enjoy that teaching aspect. We encourage the use of social media from our staff on a daily basis. We work to make sure that it's integrated as much as possible in our galleries, but also in our work day to day. We really want people to share what's happening behind the scenes at the museum. We have a lot of research going on behind the scenes, a lot of scientists that are actively publishing and finding new dinosaurs and working on climate change and things like that. So we want to make sure that they're sharing what they're doing. And then the final aspect of my job is the experimentation. So keeping on top of new platforms like Periscope and Snapchat and things like that pop up, and figuring out if it's something that we need to incorporate into our overall or if it delivers on our strategy, and is a platform that we can use to deliver on our objectives.
У Райана 3 направления деятельности. Первое – это ежедневная рутинная работа по подготовке контента и его публикации. Затем это построение культуры использования социальных сетей самими сотрудниками музея, не только для того, чтобы писать о деятельности музея в целом, но и представлять работу каждого конкретного сотрудника. Проводятся регулярно мастер-классы, семинары внутри самого музея. И начиналось все очень с базовых вещей, например, как использовать Twitter, как в принципе написать твит. А с появлением новых функций, добавление фотографий, видео в Твиттере, проводятся дополнительные занятия, чтобы рассказать про каждое конкретное изменение. И третье направление деятельности – это эксперименты, использование новых платформ, как, например, Перископ и Snapchat, мы об этом чуть попозже поговорим, и тестирование того, насколько эти новые приложения и методы соответствуют стратегии. И я сейчас задам 2 вопроса. Первый будет касаться стратегии, как это все организовано, это там документ, насколько обязательным является его использование, он официальный или это только в рамках отдела. И также спрошу, сколько сотрудников музея имеют собственные личные аккаунты в социальных сетях, в частности в Твиттере, и насколько активно они делятся своей работой. Потому что Райан именно эту идею активно распространяет и старается вовлечь сотрудников именно в процесс показа своей работы, то, что называется behind the scenes, то, что находится за пределами нашего внимания как посетителей. So I have two questions regarding your last comment. The first one is how many members of staff do have social media accounts, let's say on Twitter, that they use for sharing their behind the scenes work?
As far as I know, 80, a little over 80.
80.
80, yeah. So the ones that I've found, and the ones that have told me, I think it's like 80, 81 or 82. And out of 300, it's not, it's by no means half, but it's getting there. So and everyone has a Facebook page and things like that, right? So we don't teach a lot about Facebook. Everyone knows how to do Facebook. Everyone knows how to share things online. But for us, we focus heavily on Twitter. It's kind of our go-to platform at the museum. Our objectives for social media are to build awareness about everything that we do, the behind the scenes stuff, and also our exhibits and programs. But it's also to be to talk to people, to have a dialogue with our community. We don't do a lot of selling. We don't have any hard targets that we need to meet each month like some people do. We try not to push messages for people to buy tickets to exhibitions or things like that. We really value that dialogue and that sharing of our community. So the easiest way to do that is through Twitter, and so that's why we've really encouraged the use of Twitter with all of our staff, and it's been really great to see. There's lots of examples of school groups, teachers visiting the museum, and they're tweeting questions, and our curators are responding to their questions and sharing pictures or content that they know of online to really augment the school visit. We get lots of questions about, people find a fossil in their backyard or something. So they'll tweet at us, tweet to our museum account, and then we can direct them to the scientist that works in that area. We've even printed Twitter handles in our printed floor plan. So when you visit the museum, you can grab a printed floor plan for your directions, but you can also find the Twitter handle of the curator that's in charge of the exhibit that you're in. And if you want to know more about the object or the display that you're looking at, more than what you can read on the label, you can just tweet. You can tweet at them, and they'll respond. So we're really trying to make sure that our digital engagement presence is as integrated as possible within our physical museum.
Okay, thank you. Now I need to translate that.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
I'll try to keep my answers shorter.
Yes, I make some notes, so that's okay. Значит, основным приоритетом у Королевского музея Онтарио является развитие Твиттера. Именно эта площадка позволяет нам вести активный диалог с посетителями. И что интересно, очень часто они получают вопросы от школьных групп, от учителей, от индивидуальных посетителей, которые находятся в музее. На напечатанных планах музея написан аккаунт музея в Твиттере, а также иногда указаны аккаунты кураторов, которые отвечают за ту или иную экспозицию. То есть, если у вас есть вопрос по конкретной экспозиции, вы можете напрямую обратиться к куратору. Но это говорит не только о том, что в самом музее развита культура Твиттера, но и что посетители тоже воспринимают Твиттер как инструмент, площадку для диалога с музеем. И, видимо, поэтому Твиттер музея настолько развит. Если говорить о том, сколько сотрудников музея используют Твиттер для того, чтобы писать о своей работе, то это 80 человек. Учитывая, что сотрудников музея 300, это почти треть сотрудников, это очень много, на мой взгляд. Цели, которые преследует музей в социальных сетях, и напомню, что Твиттер – это главная площадка, это распространение информации о том, что происходит в музее, как в зоне видимости для посетителей на экспозициях, так и в фондовой работе, в исследовательской деятельности. И это площадка для диалога, где музей разговаривает с людьми. И для них не стоит задача через Твиттер распространять информацию о продаже билетов или о каких-то товарах. этих сообщений совсем немного на фоне всех остальных. И сейчас я задам вопрос про стратегию, как это работает. Now I'd like to talk about social media strategy. Is it a document, policy? Is it official one, so confirmed or by the administration? Who was responsible for writing it? How do you update it regularly?
Yeah, so back when I took over full time in 2012, that was sort of the first thing that I did. We had a general idea of what we wanted to do, but there were not many senior managers knew what it was all about or the power that it can have, and the implications on your brand and on your reputation and things like that. And if it's done wrong, it can be really detrimental to your organization. So I spent a good deal of time putting together our objectives and our strategy and presented them to our then director and CEO, Janet Carding, who's now back in Australia. And she gave me the green light, and I was really happy that the focus that I placed on dialogue with our community and delivering a responsive and community management strategy was okayed. In 2012, when I started, we had 7,000 followers on Twitter. We now have 130,000. That's a 600% increase in 3 years, and it's not, we're not a celebrity. We're a nonprofit. We're a museum, and I think that's a pretty healthy increase to share. And it's definitely an indicator that our strategy is the right one for our museum. Strategies are going to be different for every organization and what you choose to do with the tools that you have. But for us, building and having a dialogue on a day-to-day basis with our community is our number one goal, and it's showing real results for us.
Okay, thank you. Do you know how many active followers do you have? So from these 130,000 people, how many of them do engage with you on everyday basis or weekly basis? Do you have these numbers?
I don't track it that closely. There's probably about 30 or 40 people that we see regularly that talk to us, that pop up. There's probably 5 to 10 people that talk to us every couple of days, that pop up, that we talk to about a number of things. We've started to invite social media influencers to media previews, and whenever we open a new exhibit, we always do a public call for people to come and live tweet it. When we opened our Pompeii exhibit back in June, we had 25 social media influencers come, and along with the traditional media, and the hashtag for that exhibit was trending all day for 8 hours because there were all of these people talking about the exhibit online. So I don't know if I would be able to track how many active users we have per month, but I do know that there is good engagement there. There are people that we talk to regularly, and we aim, Lexi and I, there's 2 of us now, so we can be much more responsive than we used to be, but we aim to respond to people as soon as possible. Between reasonable hours of say 8 or 9 a.m. to 10 or 11 p.m. at night. So if you tweet at us and ask us a question between that time, within 1 to 2 to 3 minutes, we'll respond to you. And if we don't know the answer, we'll respond and say, we're finding out, let us get back to you.
Thank you. Now I need to translate that.
Yeah.
Значит, стратегия начала разрабатываться в 2012 году, когда Райан получил полную ставку, начал заниматься социальными сетями. Это все было, в общем-то, результатом личной инициативы, и никто не привлекался со стороны. Райн работал сам. И стратегия, первый его черновик был представлен директору и получил одобрение. Фокус стратегии был сделан на диалог и формирование комфортной площадки для общения с посетителями. За 3 года рост подписчиков в Твиттере составил 600%, от 7 тысяч до 130 тысяч сегодня. И это доказывает, что выбранная стратегия с акцентом на диалог, она оказалась рабочей. Я спросила, каким образом считается, есть ли какая-то метрика по количеству уникальных активных подписчиков. Такого исследования не проводится, однако, потому что видно, можно назвать следующие цифры. 30-40 человек активно взаимодействуют с музеем на регулярной основе, 5-10 человек разговаривают с музеем ежедневно. Одна из недавних методик – это привлечение влиятельных пользователей Твиттера и приглашение их на открытие выставок для того, чтобы они вели онлайн Твиттер-репортаж в дополнение к традиционным медиа, то есть к приглашению прессы. И вот в последний раз выставка открывалась про Помпеи летом. 25 представителей Твиттера активных и с большим количеством подписчиков были приглашены в музей. На связи сотрудники по социальным сетям находятся с 8-9 утра до 10-11 вечера. Скорость ответа составляет 1-3 минуты. Даже если ответ на вопрос неизвестен, то все равно будет дан ответ, что вопрос получен, и через какое-то время, когда все будет выяснено, ответ все равно будет дан. Okay, and the next question is about analytics. How do you track numbers? Do you need to report to the head of the department or to the director with these numbers?
Yeah. So we don't have a specific tool that we use for analytics. We just grab numbers from Facebook Insights and the analytics that you get off of Twitter. We used to use Hootsuite Pro, but we stopped using it, maybe about 8-10 months ago. And now we just use TweetDeck for everything. And then we use Facebook. So for me, what I look at the engagement numbers. So when we post something, how many people does it reach, and what do people do with that post? So for me, I'm looking at the percentage of engagement, if posts are engaging or not. And then I use that to inform the type of content that we post. For my bosses, for senior management and our board, they only care about how much our networks grow per month. So they're looking at our growth in likes and our growth in followers on Twitter. They don't understand or care about engagement. They don't see why it's valuable and why it's important. And I've really tried over the last year to explain why we should focus on those numbers rather than the vanity metrics. While it's still good to look at vanity metrics, it's a good indication that what you're doing is working. It doesn't really drill down specifically for you who's managing the content and the posting. It's just kind of like a out there number, but the engagement stuff is really valuable. You can tell if you posted the content at the right time, if it was properly targeted to the right audience, if it was a good mix of content, if your videos are getting more engagement than your photo albums, maybe you should post more videos. So those types of things I look at on a monthly basis and talk about them with Lexi and my boss, and we use our data to inform the decisions, our content decisions, on a monthly basis.
Can you provide me with an example from Twitter? So let's say which type of tweet usually gets more engagement rate rather than others?
Yeah, anything that, so we've been doing a lot of work. Lexi came on in May, And so before, I was really struggling to really look at our data and really use that data to inform our decisions. I was really just trying to keep on top of everything that was happening and deliver on our objectives. But since she came on, I've been able to take a step back from the community management side of things and really look at what we were doing and see what was working. And anytime that we post something that the larger community is talking about, so if there's a trending topic in Toronto or Canada, anytime we can insert ourselves into those larger conversations, we get lots of engagement. Anytime we share something that is not trying to sell a program or an exhibit, anytime we share user-generated content, so we have a system that we use that aggregates photos that people share with us through a number of different keywords and locations and things. And anytime we share, we say, hey, great photo, thanks for sharing, or anything like that, it gets engaged with quite a bit. So whenever we're not trying to sell someone something, it gets lots of engagement. Whenever we try to sell someone something, it bombs.
That's the same thing in Russia, I guess. In Russian Twitter, yes.
Social is about being social, right? It's not about selling people something.
Yeah, but sometimes it's hard to explain to senior managers who want to sell things.
Yeah.
Social media, thus bringing people to the real venue rather than just on social media page.
Yeah.
Мой вопрос был про цифры и то, каким образом собирается статистика, есть ли какая-то обязательная отчетность. Раз в месяц Райан докладывает своему руководителю о приросте уникальных пользователей, для этого используются базовые инструменты статистики, которые предоставляет сам Twitter и Facebook. Никаких других специальных инструментов не используются. Сам Райн заинтересован в проценте вовлечения. Мы с вами знаем, что и в Фейсбуке, и в Твиттере можно посмотреть этот процент. И он смотрит на то, какие твиты или посты в Фейсбуке получили наибольший процент вовлечения, и делает вывод. Допустим, если много вовлечения было через видео, то, возможно, стоит обратить внимание на этот формат публикаций. Что касается Твиттера, я попросила привести пример твитов, которые собирают больше откликов. Два типа были приведены в пример. Это твиты, которые реагируют на тренды, на местные в городе или в стране в Канаде, и участие музея в диалогах на более глобальные темы, то есть выход за пределы собственной темы и разговор на какие-то более общие, широкие темы. И твиты, которые содержат посты в Фейсбуке, содержащие контент, созданный самими пользователями. Допустим, фотографии, созданные в Инстаграме. И тогда твит будет такого содержания, что классная фотография, спасибо, что поделились. И это обычно вызывает отклик. Как только посты содержат промоушен, рекламу, купите, придите и так далее, то есть посыл продажи, то уровень вовлечения заметно снижается. Ну, в общем-то, вывод, который делает Райн, что социальные медиа – это прежде всего социальные ресурсы, то есть нужно общаться с людьми, а не просто продавать. Thank you. And now I think we can discuss the final part, Periscope and Snapchat. And let's start from Snapchat is the most weird and difficult thing, at least for me. I installed it today and started following two museums, Blanton Museum and Los Angeles Museum of Contemporary Art. And to be honest, I didn't get the point. I saw nothing. I didn't see any news feed, which I get used to on Twitter or Facebook. And I'm a bit lost. Maybe I am too old to use Snapchat since it's mostly for teens, but maybe you can provide me with some advice.
I think I'm way older than you, Anna. So, you can just imagine how I feel trying to find my way around this platform. I went to a hockey game recently, and I was sitting behind a group of teenagers. They couldn't have been more than 16 years old. One of them had to be 16 to drive them all to the game. But there was 4 or 5 of them, and they were all on Snapchat the whole game. and they were taking snaps, they're called. So anytime you take a picture or a little video, it's called a snap on Snapchat. They were taking snaps every minute at least, the whole time, sharing their experience through Snapchat. The idea is that there is no news feed. That it's the reason the logo is a ghost is because it's there, but it's not really there. It's meant to be content that is spur of the moment, that that you share with people who are your friends, and not the whole world or the whole internet. And it's meant to be more ephemeral than what we share on Facebook or Twitter. It's meant to just kind of be there for a minute and then go away. So for museum people who like to analyze and look at numbers and try to figure out what it all means, it's difficult. I really like to know what the time that I'm putting into something is having value for my community. And with Snapchat, it's really hard to figure that out, but it's a lot of fun. It gets me. The other thing about Snapchat is you can't use photos that are saved on your phone or videos that are saved on your phone. You have to go up to the galleries and do something there and then. So it's over the last we've really only I've started our account last spring probably, but only within the last month, maybe since MCN, have I really started using it on a daily basis, and it's been amazing. It makes me go to the galleries on a daily basis. It makes me get out and see what people are doing in the museum, and it's been great. I don't know if it's good at all, the content's good, or if it's funny, but the biggest engagement I see is when I take a screenshot of what I share on Snapchat and share it on other platforms. So when I tweet a picture of something that I've done on Snapchat on my personal Twitter account, I get more engagement on Snapchat. People find out about it, and then they go look for it. There's one aspect of Snapchat that I really do like, though, and it's called it's My Story. And so what My Story allows you to do is to link snaps together in a narrative. So you can I've done a whole gallery. You could follow a docent tour and snap the whole thing. And the good things about My Story is that you can save it to your camera or to your phone as a video, but it also lives on Snapchat for 24 hours. So it's much more discoverable than just a regular snap. So you can really use it to tell a story. For Snapchat, I've been looking at trends, whatever's trending daily. So last week, Missy Elliott, I don't know if you know who Missy Elliott is. She's a rapper. She released her first video in over 10 years. So it was a big thing on Twitter. And I'm not, it's not really the genre of music that I'm into. I have two small kids, so I don't really listen to music that most people listen to anyway. But it was a big topic on Twitter. So I took the chorus of her song, and I went around and I found objects that related to the lines of the chorus, and made a small story about it, and it did really well. So things like that. It's really it's not a traditional use of my time, but it's lots of fun, and it's growing on me for sure.
So if I follow a museum on Snapchat and they post something, I can see it at any time, or just when it was posted?
Just when it was posted, and then it lives for 24 hours, but if you look at it, then it's gone.
So
you can't look at it again, unless it's in a My Story.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's really like it's there, and then it's gone.
Okay. And
so
what about?
That's why museums are being a little more taking a little more risks. A lot of museums will type out swear words in their snaps. There'll be a little more risque with their snaps than you would think from a museum.
And what about analytics? Do they have something like Twitter analytics or not yet?
No analytics for Snapchat. You can see how many people viewed. If you do a story, you can see how many people viewed it, how many people took a screenshot, and that's it. So I mean, there's a company called Del Mundo in New York City who's doing a little bit of work with you know, how to do Snapchat analytics, and they're looking at things like, you know, the number of snaps you do versus the amount of views that you do, and then working out a percentage. You know, same as a Twitter engagement rate or something like that. So, you know, part of that side, part of the analytics of Snapchat, it's, you know, it's brand new, so it's not really, hasn't really been figured out yet, but it's coming. And I would just say that if you're looking at it, don't worry about the analytics. You know, figure out how to use the platform first. You know, have fun with it. Try new things and see what happens. The good thing about it is your board or your senior managers, or they have no idea what it is. So you know, you can try lots of stuff, and they, you know, they won't know.
Okay, I like the final point. I hope that no senior managers are listening to us tonight.
I mean, they probably, if they have kids that are teenagers, they probably have heard of it, but they don't know what it's about or what the point is. And I think it's good because, you know, I'm still trying to figure out how it fits into our overall strategy. And, you know, it's been really fun learning how to use it and learning what content works on it and what people engage with. So it's been fun, and it's, you know, it's sometimes difficult to do things live, you know, on the fly, because it's a little scary, but you know, it's been pretty fun so far. LACMA and the Blanton are really good at this. The Blanton's fantastic at tapping into that fun aspect of Snapchat.
Okay, so now I will translate this big part.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Okay, I have all notes, and then there will be final question about Periscope. Okay. And if you can share this, some of the links you've mentioned, like this company in New York, on our Facebook later, it would be great.
Yeah, definitely.
Окей. Итак, Райн рассказал про приложение Snapchat. Я делилась сегодня, кажется, ссылкой на примеры, как это используется в музее, так что вы сможете потом посмотреть на то, как выглядит это приложение, и установить его. Это приложение, которое популярно среди тинейджеров и подростков и позволяет сделать фотографию или видео короткое, сопроводить его комментарием. В чем фишка и особенность этого приложения? Каждый ваш снэп, каждая фотография или видео называется снэпом, оно исчезает буквально через минуту после того, как вы им поделились с друзьями. Вы можете сохранить несколько снэпов в историю, тогда она будет храниться 24 часа. Это новый формат, который мы уже знаем по перископу, когда контент хранится ограниченное количество времени, но здесь это принимает совсем какой-то необычный и быстрый формат. Не зря логотипом Snapchat является привидение. Он вроде бы есть, но вроде бы его и нет. В Snapchat нет привычной для нас ленты новостей. Вы увидите публикацию только в момент, когда эта публикация сделана, и вам придет уведомление. Если вы пропустили, значит вы пропустили. И дважды вы не сможете посмотреть один и тот же снэп. То есть это контент для одного момента. И сеть больше ориентирована на ваших друзей. То есть вот этими снэпами вы делитесь только с друзьями, а вот истории, то есть набор снэпов, могут быть публичными. Райн создал аккаунт в Snapchat прошлой весной, но активно начал заниматься им только в течение последнего месяца. И приложение не позволяет использовать уже существующие фотографии и видео, поэтому приходится идти в галерею, ну, то есть в сам музей. И это, в общем-то, положительный момент этого приложения, потому что он заставляет встать, пойти и посмотреть, что происходит в самом музее. Значит, можно создать, как я уже сказала, историю, то есть набор из фотографий и видео. И как поступает Райн? Он отслеживает тренды и старается под них подстроить эти истории. Допустим, на прошлой неделе в Твиттере был тренд про какую-то певицу, рэпершу, что она выпустила первое видео за 10 лет, он посмотрел это видео и к некоторым строчкам песен постарался подобрать экспонаты, которые так или иначе с этими строчками были связаны, и создал историю. Он упомянул компанию в Нью-Йорке, которая занимается попытками аналитики Snapchat, так как самой аналитики, как там Twitter-аналитики, в Snapchat не существует. Поэтому никаких цифр конкретных предоставить мы не сможем. Что можно смотреть, это сколько просмотров получила ваша история, сколько сделано скриншотов. А скриншотов вы можете сделать скриншот своего снэпа и поделиться им в других социальных сетях. И вот скриншоты снэпов, они вызывают довольно большой отклик, по словам Райана. Также он отметил, что эксперимент с новыми платформами нужно воспринимать как эксперимент и повод к развитию, не относиться очень серьезно, по крайней мере, на первом моменте к цифрам и аналитике. Он сказал, что обычно руководители и директора не разбираются в этих всех новинках, и до тех пор, пока они особо не вникают в то, что происходит, можно смело экспериментировать. Он говорит, что Snapchat – это больше молодежная аудитория, поэтому, возможно, причем это тинейджеры, да, подростки, там, 13-16 лет, возможно, руководство, у которого есть там, свои дети такого же возраста, могут с пониманием отнестись, если они видели, что этими приложениями ребята их пользуются. И финальный мой вопрос будет про перископ и то, как можно перископом пользоваться музеями. И после этого мы завершим наш вебинар. И вопросы, если они у вас будут, я думаю, можно будет адресовать Райну через Facebook, я помогу с переводом. And so my final question is about Periscope. How would you recommend to use it in museums? Please share some tips, advice,
Sure.
or maybe your experience.
Do a lot of museums in Russia use Periscope now, or is it
just a few?
Just a few? Okay. I really like Periscope. We started doing Google Hangouts in 2013, in April 2013. And we did 33 Hangouts, I believe, or 32 Hangouts in total. And there, as you know, Anna, it's a lot of work to put together a Hangout, right? There's a lot of scheduling involved, and Gmail accounts and things, so it's it can be a bit cumbersome platform. I really enjoy it, but
you use it Google Hangouts for professional communication or for museum purposes, for engagement?
Yeah, for engagement. They're all on our YouTube channel. There's a playlist of them all, and we were using Hangouts to basically interview curatorial staff, for them to talk about their research and things like that. We had one really good one where the lady brought live snakes. She's a herpetologist, and she brought snakes for the Hangout, which I'm terrified of snakes, so that was a lot of fun. But when Periscope came out, I saw this platform. I was like, oh man, this is amazing. It's a Hangout that we can just do live on our phone. We can do it from anywhere in the museum that there's service. So the first one we did, I didn't tell anyone that we did it. We were uncrating one of the star artifacts in our new Pompeii show, and there was sort of a media photo opportunity. So there's a bunch of people with big TV cameras there, and I turned Periscope on my phone. It was right after the British Museum did the really well produced exhibit tour that they did back in, I think that must have been April, May. And anyway, I didn't tell anyone we were doing it, and people were talking to me and asking me questions, and I was holding my phone, like I was just kind of holding my phone like this, and people were like, what are you doing with your phone? Why are you holding your phone like that? And I was like, we're live right now. Don't talk, just watch. So it was a bit of a learning curve. But from that experiment, and we did a few other small experiments, and we saw lots of engagement. We saw lots of questions. People were loving the video. A peacock got loose from one of the zoos in Toronto and was running around the neighborhood next to the zoo. So we had one of our ornithologists, our bird experts, do a little Periscope video about peacocks and actually how dangerous they can be, which got lots of action. It was really funny. And then we decided to do Ask a Curator Day. And so the one thing that I would say about Periscope is it's great because you can do it on the fly. You know, a lot of the times as social media people at a museum, we hear about things last minute and have to jump on things quite quickly. And Periscope allows you to, you know, to add live video content to those last minute things that happen. And, you know, you can set up the settings so that it automatically saves the video to your phone, which then you can then upload to YouTube later on if you want to, and then, or to Facebook or wherever you like. So it does allow, even though the video doesn't stick around longer than 24 hours online, there are ways that you can save the video. When we did our Ask Our Curator Day, we did 10 Periscopes, one every half hour between noon and 5 p.m. We had some people, I don't know if it was you, Anna, but some people from Russia that were saying hi during our Periscopes. Appreciate that.
Yes, I asked your question about plants in your collection, or unusual flowers, yes.
There we go, yeah. Yeah, with Deborah Metzger. And then we had some people from Poland and lots of people from the US ask us questions. So it was great because, you know, they pop up on your screen and you can just, instead of typing them in, you can just respond, and people know that you're seeing their questions and you're engaging with them. So for us, it's a great tool. I can let you translate that first bit if you want.
Yes, okay, let me translate that.
Okay.
Вначале в Королевском музее Онтарио использовался Google Hangouts для записи интервью с сотрудниками. И это, как мы с вами уже знаем, всегда требует большой организационной работы. Нужно выбрать время, договориться, обеспечить техникой, чтобы у людей были Gmail-аккаунты. Довольно много времени тратится. Когда появился перископ, то проблема организационная отошла на второй план, потому что транслировать видео можно здесь и сейчас, если есть смартфон и доступ к интернету. Видео, кстати, которые в Google Hangout были сняты, они доступны на канале YouTube у Королевского музея Онтарио. Первый опыт был этим летом с перископом на выставке Помпеи. Это сразу было после экспериментов Британского музея. Райн подчеркивает, что это был эксперимент, и он не говорил в момент записи, что он что-то записывает. Люди подходили к нему, общались, спрашивали, почему он так странно держит телефон. Там, те, кто пользовал перископ, они не знают, что надо держать его вот так вот перед собой. И он сказал, что вообще-то здесь идет живая трансляция. Было удивительно. И, опять же, какая содержательная, да, часть работы с перископом. Ну, вот, например, из зоопарка в Торонто сбежал павлин, и музей, а я напомню, что там есть, естественно, научные коллекции, отреагировал следующим образом. Был снят короткий ролик, где куратор-специалист по птицам объяснял, что из себя представляет павлин и почему он может быть опасен. И это вызвало большую реакцию среди подписчиков и тех, кто вообще был в курсе этой ситуации. И еще один способ, который был опробован в сентябре, это «Спроси куратора», когда ответы на вопросы и сами вопросы собирались через перископ. Были все эти... Did you save these Periscope files from Ask a Curator Day? I tried to find them on YouTube, but I didn't.
Yeah, we haven't put them on YouTube yet. We have them saved, but we haven't put them on YouTube yet.
Видеофайлы «Спроси куратора» сохранены, но пока не загружены. И вот в отличие от Snapchat, перископ позволяет сохранять то, что вы создаете на телефоне, и использовать это на других платформах, в частности на YouTube.
Lexi's done a few behind-the-scenes interviews with curatorial staff whenever they have a new acquisition or something that they really want to talk about. So we've brought people back to our collections rooms as well. You know, and last week we periscoped the entire media preview for a new exhibition, and we had 61 people tune in. That's more people than actually attended the media preview in person, which was great. And for the Ask a Curator Day, we had just over 1,000 people tune in to all of the Periscopes interviews that we did. So about 100 people for each one, because we did 10 of them. So I mean, you know, and for the Ask a Curator Day, we did promote it ahead of time. You know, we did a couple of posts on Facebook and a couple of tweets that said, you know, hey, watch for watch for these periscopes coming up. And I think I did an event page with the schedule so that people knew, when certain people were going to be on Periscope. So we did give people a little bit of a heads up. So if you are planning, if you do want to do one, I would say there is benefit in promoting it ahead of time. We definitely see more viewers when we let people know and give people reminders that it's going to be happening rather than just doing it on the fly.
And when you start periscoping, do you or someone else publish the link on other social media channels that appears?
No. Well, it depends.
Or you just use Twitter to promote this?
Yeah. Usually we just use Twitter for it. It depends on if Lexi and I are both in, and we have that extra set of hands that can do that, because we all have access to the same accounts on our phones. So if we can retweet from all the other accounts or share on Facebook, we will. But it really just depends on how many sets of hands we have behind the scenes. Normally it's just one person running it, so we just let it go and see what happens.
Значит, некоторые еще данные. Спроси куратора, примерно 1000 человек посмотрели трансляцию. Также несколько раз были проведены туры, что называется, что происходит за занавесом. Сторона жизни музея, там, про коллекции, допустим, про недавние приобретения. На прошлой неделе пресс-показ транслировался, 61 человек его посмотрел. Рекомендация Райна — создавать оповещения о трансляциях заранее, чтобы люди могли как-то спланировать свое время. В случае со «Спроси куратора» создавалась специальная страница в Фейсбуке с расписанием того, кто и во сколько будет отвечать на вопросы. Опыт его показывает, что когда создается оповещение, то больше людей приходит, чем в среднем. Okay, I think I have the final quick question.
Sure.
In Russian museums, we discuss a lot the connection between the amount of followers on social media and the real visits. So basically, is there any connection between them? Does social media really brings people to the museum or not? Do you count this somehow? Do you conduct audience research? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would look at Colleen Dillenschneider as an example of someone who's putting data behind the value of social media for your bottom line, for revenue generation. Social media, and that enables you to build your reputation for your museum. So yes, you probably can't say that the 300 tweets you send out per month equal 300 tickets sold to your special exhibition, but you can say that the 300 tweets that you send out per month build awareness about your institution. You got to remember that tweets are now archived in Google. So anytime someone Googles your institution, your tweets come up in search. So the level of activity of your online presence is valuable, is increasingly valuable. The Horizon report, the New Media Consortium Horizon report for 2015, one of the big things that everyone was talking about was expanding the concept of a visitor. In 2015, online visitors are visitors too. And I'd say 98% of the people that come through your door found you online first. And whether they found you through a banner ad on some other website, through an email newsletter, through a tweet, through a Facebook post, through a Pinterest board, through whatever, they found you online and they were interested in having, in visiting your museum. So it is extremely important that you have a presence online, and not only that you have a presence, that you are engaging with your community online and you are responsive to that community. Because if the worst thing can be for you to not be responsive, to not answer questions online, because then people don't think that you're not invested in them. And if they see that and you know, what are they going to tell their friends and family? That, you know, it's going to be a negative comment about your organization to their friends and family, and then it just snowballs from there. We do visitor evaluation on a regular basis here at the museum, and I think it's like 84% of people say that they heard about the museum through word of mouth. Now that's great, but a lot of people can't tell you if the word of mouth came from a conversation over dinner, or, you know, they read it in the newspaper and then someone told them about it, or people have no idea where they heard the original message. They just know they heard it somewhere. So that's why they say the word of mouth. But again, in 2015, everything is digital. So chances are people heard about, you know, you heard about you from something they saw online. And like I said, you know, social is so intertwined with Google searches now that, you know, the majority of people probably heard about you because of your social media presence. The last thing I'm going to say about this is that the one thing you can do is you can track traffic from Google Analytics to your website. You can track social traffic. And if you're really smart at Google Analytics, and I'm not, you can turn on conversions and you can see, you know, how many actually people go to your, you know, your buy tickets page, if that's something that you do. But also, I was talking to Seb Chen about this in Geneva at Museum Next, because I'm really having a hard time. Our online ticketing is through a third party, so we can't turn on that conversion. So I have no idea. I know that people get to the buy ticket page, but I don't know how many people actually go through with the transaction. I do know that we get 3 times as many visitors online as we do on site. I do know that a third of those visitors come from social. So what Seb told me to do was to find out how your institution values a ticket from an online sale. So you need to find your per cap expense of your ticket. So for us, it's $9. So our ticket price is $15. $9 of that is revenue. The rest is, you know, recuperating expenses and things. So a third of that $9 is $6, and a third of that is $1. So basically, online traffic from social to our website is worth $1. Does that make sense?
Yes, I'm not sure that I'll be able to correct the final part about ticketing, but I'll try.
Right. So just to put that in a context, last fiscal, we drove 120,000 website visits from social. So that means my work last fiscal was worth $120,000.
Я спросила.
Yeah, it's people are still trying to figure that out, but you know, the first part of my answer is the more important one. The last part is just me trying to figure out how to put a dollar value on it, because marketing always says, well, we spend $500,000 on billboards and newspaper ads, and this is how many people come. They don't factor in all the online stuff that we do that we don't pay for, which if you look at Colleen's work, she's proven that your online work that you do is almost 13 times more valuable than anything you do in advertising wise that you spend money on. So.
Итак, я спросила про соотношение реальных посетителей и социальных сетей, есть ли какая-то корреляция, и как вообще можно оценивать эффективность работы в социальных сетях. Вот какой ответ я получила. Основная задача использования социальных сетей, цель – это формирование известности бренда музея, чтобы он был узнаваемым. И сегодня по опросам в музее 94% слышат о музее через своих знакомых, сарафанное радио. И люди уже не в состоянии разделить. Это было там произнесено вечером при встрече за ужином, или же им кто-то рассказал в Фейсбуке. То есть цифровое в этом смысле стало настолько частью повседневности, что уже неотделимо от, по ощущениям, от каких-то реальных, да, вещей. Поэтому чем больше присутствия в онлайне, тем лучше, потому что никогда не знаете, где вас могут заметить, где увидеть, где вас могут прокомментировать и вообще узнать про вас. И к тому же 98% реальных визитов в музей, это означает, что люди вначале все равно, скорее всего, нашли вас в интернете, там, на сайте, через социальные сети, через какие-то агрегаторы. То есть информация в цифровом сегодняшнем мире, она востребована. И чем больше у музея будет присутствия, тем больше шансов, что о нем узнают. И также необходимо постоянно находиться на связи с подписчиками и реагировать на комментарии, в том числе негативные, потому что отсутствие реакции может вызвать негативную реакцию. И, соответственно, мнение о вас может быть распространено именно негативное. А если говорить о фактических каких-то данных, то Райн рекомендует использовать Google аналитику и смотреть количество социального трафика, то есть трафика социальных сетей на сайт. И один из таких вариантов трекинга – это отслеживать продажу билетов. В случае с их музеем это затруднено, потому что продажа билетов находится в ведении сторонней компании, и у них пока не налажен доступ к этим данным. Однако условно можно посчитать, что там количество трафика на сайт через социальные сети известно. Можно посмотреть, сколько из этого трафика приходится там, на страницу покупки билетов. И зная, какая часть билета является прибыльной для музея, можно посчитать приблизительно, сколько денег приносят социальные сети музея. В случае с Райаном это 120 тысяч переходов, и по цене билета он посчитал, он примерно приносит 120 тысяч. Но это приблизительные данные, которые отражают скорее подход к тому, как можно высчитывать реальное значение социальных сетей, нежели какие-то прям объективные цифры. So, I think I asked all the questions and translate most of your answers.
It's been lovely to hear. It's been lovely to hear your language, Anna. I think we always talk in English, so I don't get to hear Russian very often. It's been fantastic.
Yes, many thanks for joining us tonight. It's almost 9 p.m.
I know, you must be tired. Thank you.
A bit, yes. And please share with us these links about Snapchat analytics. Anything else you can?
Yeah, I'll share the links to our overall objectives for social and the Snapchat stuff, and yeah, I'll post in the event that you created on Facebook.
Yes, thank you very much, and hope to talk to you again.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.